We're with Mark Dobbins of Dobbins Guitar, and in Mark's workshop we're looking right now at the machine that actually creates the curves on a guitar. Tell me about this, Mark.
It's a Fox style side bender. You create, I make a pattern of half the guitar that I'm going to build, whatever shape I want it. I'll make this pattern, which is this piece right here.
Okay.
And that's that guitar you see sitting right there. I bent the sides on this. I set it in this form.
So that's adjustable in the sense you could put any shape in there you want, right?
I build this half. And that's half of any guitar. That's any shape I want to build. If I want to build a parlor, I'll make half of a parlor or a dreadnought, and it slips into this bender here, this half. And then I stick the sides into a couple of these stainless steel slats under this heating blanket, and it all slips into here. And this waist here, this caul, slips down, cranks down into that waist of the half, and that makes the waist. When this blanket starts heating that side up, I'll have it in foil to protect it from burning. When that heating blanket heats that wood up enough, you start feeling it bend. You'll know when you get this waist cranked down. I have these handles on springs here that pulls that down over the form. And you can feel it when it starts to give, when you need to put more pressure on it and get it all the way bent.
So it's almost like molding pottery, huh?
A little bit. You get a feel for different woods bend different. Highly figured wood is hard to bend, but you can use a softener, what they call a veneer softener, and you spray the wood with that softener, which will help those highly figured woods become brittle if you don't use a softener. So you soften them up before you bend them so they don't break. Otherwise, these tight bends on the waist, the wood wants to crack and break on you.
Now let's talk about the wood. What types of wood are great for guitar and which kind aren't?
Well, these days there used to be, the makers would use traditional mahogany, maple, and rosewood were the three main woods for the back and the sides. Mahogany and Spanish cedar were most of the necks, and spruce was used pretty exclusively for the tops. Nowadays, because of wood shortages and endangered species, they've gone to a whole realm of woods. They're importing woods from Africa, South America. That little ukulele right there is that wood's from West Africa. That's an ovencall, called ovencall. So there's a lot of alternative tone woods these days. Honduran mahogany, sapele from Africa is a real similar wood to American mahogany. Tailor factories have gone to use a lot of that. A lot of sustainable harvesting of woods these days. Brazilian rosewoods is an endangered species. You can't cut that anymore. So you're not able to, purchase that unless you buy it from somebody that's had it in their stash for 30 years.
What about wood that doesn't work? Plywood?
Yeah, you want to use mostly solid woods, and hardwoods are the back and the sides, and spruce is still spruce, cedar, and redwood. Redwood these days is being used for some of the tops of guitars. I have some redwood for some tops. I've used cedar, and I mainly use spruce for my tops.
I'm curious, did you build this machine here?
Yeah.
Okay, that's your own handcrafted device.
Yeah, you can buy them. You can buy one similar to this from luthier supply houses, but they're expensive. They want $600 for them. When you're a luthier, if you can If you can build a guitar, you can build a side bender.
Okay.
So you as a luthier, you end up building a lot of jigs and things to facilitate making the job easier.
Let's talk about ukuleles, Mark. I understand ukuleles are very hot right now.
Yep, they're the #1 selling instruments. That's why I started building ukes, and I've been doing a lot of repair on ukes from the strum shop in Roseville that's opened up. So
what is it that's making the ukulele so popular right now?
I think it's well, they call it the happy instrument. So it's easier to learn than guitar. It's easier on your fingers. It's smaller to travel with. In general, it's less expensive.
You were telling me that some ukuleles, though, cost thousands of dollars, right?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of handmade ukuleles out there that are really expensive.
And what's the difference between an expensive one and a cheap ukulele?
Well, a lot of factory production cheap ukes, they just pump them out and
Assembly line.
yeah. Most of the builders that hand makes ukuleles, they really concentrate on making a quality instrument. Every part is detailed by their hands. Their fretwork is wonderful. Their joints are good. There's a lot of stuff coming from China and stuff like that are, some of it's good, and you know, the price reflects it. You're not going to get a super high quality instrument when you pay $200 for one. So
Right.
you know, it all goes hand in hand.
When did you first start to notice that ukuleles were starting to become really popular?
A few years ago, I think Jake Shimbakuro really had something to do with that. He is the Jimi Hendrix of the ukulele. And I think he really made people want, and once they watched him play and realized the music that could be played on the ukulele was every bit as complex as a guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
But it just has kind of a bright tone to me that naturally sounds happy.
Yeah, that's why they call it the happy instrument. When you see 100 people at a time playing the ukulele and singing, everybody's happy.
Right.
They're a little easier to build.
A little smaller, a lot less material.
Yeah, a lot less wood. They can be every bit as pretty as a guitar, though. The bird's eye maple on the back of that one, figured maple is pretty attractive wood.